Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Joris and today I'm going to take you along for part 3 of my series of European ETFs that invest in Europe, and this time it's going to go about the high dividend yielders. So a lot of people would like this video, of course, because my channel goes about dividend investing, but high dividends should always ring a bell that there is danger for dividend traps, so let's check them out. So in this video I'm going to talk about 5 ETFs from the 21 that I found, and as I said earlier in the previous 2 parts of this series, if you know about any other European based ETF that is not synthetic replicated that I missed, please put them in a comment down below. I will read your comment certainly. I can learn from you and then I can include that ETF in my further analysis of all the ETFs that I track, and it would help me out enormously, so thank you for that. And the MSCI Europe Index, that was discussed in part 1 of this series, so you can check out that video after this one. And then the other ETFs, yeah, I already mentioned it in the previous videos. The dividend yield, the performance, and the total expense ratio, I will list them up for the 5 ETFs that I'm going to discuss today at the end of the video in a nice table, so you can see the overall performance of the ETFs. And in this video I'm going to discuss the ETFs with the highest dividend yields. So it's around 5% and up. So let's start with the first one, and that's the FLXD. Immediately I'm starting with the one that I already mentioned in the previous video with the quality dividends. So here you can see it's quality dividend as well in the name already. And as you know, it's also the one my wife and I invest money into. And yeah, so I already mentioned this one. So 73 million invested in it, 5-year performance of 44.4%, a dividend yield of 4.92% being paid out quarterly. So I went over that pretty fast, but if you saw the previous video, I already talked about it a little bit longer. And then the next one, again, one from WisdomTree, with a total expense ratio of 0.29%. WisdomTree likes to go just below 0.30%. It's an Irish-based one, and it's noted in Swiss francs on the 6. There is only 22 million invested in it. So WisdomTree, in the previous video, it had 5 million invested in the ETF that I mentioned there. In this one, only 22. So it's really low. And the performance, it's 7.5% over the past year. The past 3 years, 32.4%, and the past 5 years, a little bit higher than 27%. The dividend yield, it's way up there, 5.79%, and it's also being paid out half yearly at the beginning of January and at the beginning of July. So quite high dividend yield, but that is this video, of course. So I only mentioning ETFs with high dividend yield. So 5.79% is quite nice. Then we have EUHD, so the Invesco Euro STOXX High Dividend Low Volatility. I like the series of Invesco with high dividend low volatility. They have it for the euro, they have it for America, they have it for the world. So yeah, Invesco makes really good ETFs around all the time this kind of names, so with high dividend low volatility. The total expense ratio 0.30%, Irish based, and if you look at the number of holdings, it's only 50 and only 23 million invested in it. So again, low amounts invested in it, and the performance, it's not that great, especially when you look at the 5-year results. In Swiss francs, it's minus 4.5%, and in euro then it's around 15%. But at first glance, when you look at just ETF and you see minus 4.5% over 5 years, then you run away crying and say, what the hell is this? So that's not great at all. The dividend yield 5.51%, and it's being paid out quarterly. So yeah, these are the distributions of last year. And then we can go to the next one, and that's the CBSDIV, and it's a Luxembourg-based one from Lyxor with the total expense ratio of 0.25, and it's select dividend 30. So as you then can guess, probably it's with 30 holdings in the ETF, almost 60 million invested in it, and a fully replicated one. The performance over the past year was negative, so not that great, and the past 5 years only 5.38%. So not that great at all. It only distributes one dividend per year, and it's in September that it distributes it with a dividend yield. I think it's the highest one, 6.18%. And yeah, the dividend, it was almost €2 and on the 26th of September. So quite high number, high dividend yield, but if you look at the performance, not that great. Then we have IDVY. It's the iShares Euro Dividend UCITS ETF from Ireland. The total expense ratio, I think it's the most expensive one with 0.40%, which is not great from iShares from BlackRock. And it's noted in Swiss francs again, so we have to look at the performance once again. 31 holdings in this one, almost 700 million invested in it, and here the performance, they are really awful. So performance is negative for 1 year, even in when you convert it to euros. Over 3 years, 11.5% up, but for 5 years, 6% up, and when you leave it in Swiss francs, it's minus 11%. The dividend yield is 5.80%, and yeah, okay, when you look at the previous ETFs as well, you need to take into account that should this dividend yield be only 2%, then 3.8% would stay in the ETF and would grow along. So if you then have the compounding effect, you would go, you would reach higher levels, or if you reinvest the dividend as well yourself, your performance would be higher. But in this case, all the dividends that we see, so yeah, here are the distributions. So all the dividends that we see here, they are around 5% or higher. So these are, yeah, more or less comparable compared to each other. And if you then look at the 5-year performance from the FLXD, where my wife and I invest in, that's 44.43%. That's really good. Then you have the other one, EEIE, is 27.4% when you look at it in on euro base. And then you have 14.9 for the EUHD one. And then you have those two, but I think you can more or less define them as a dividend trap. So I would certainly not advise to invest your money into these ETFs. This one is a question mark. On 3-year basis, it's plus, yeah, it's rather okay, but on 5-year performance basis, it's not that great. But FLXD, yeah, I already mentioned it the last time in the previous video about the quality dividend ETFs. It was there in the middle, and here it's on top. So yeah, my wife and I, we like this one. The other ones, it's up to you whether or not you want to invest in them and draw your own conclusions from this table. Do your own research as well. But with this being said, I thank you for your attention. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and hit that like button, helps the channel out as well. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video on my YouTube channel. Bye!